Hi, everybody, it's Miss Fox, and today we're going to talk about the library aide responsibilities. Now, we're going to see a bunch of different things that you could be doing while you're here in the library as an aide, but there are also stuff that I didn't put on this list that you might be asked to do. So, this is not a comprehensive list, but it's a good idea of what you can be expected to be doing while you're here in the library. So let's get started. The very first thing that we have is that you're going to be responsible for monitoring the circulation desk. So, what does that mean? That means that you're going to be helping people signing in and out of end time. You're going to be making sure that kids have a signed pass. You're going to be helping by checking books in and out. And you're also going to be helping by making sure, if you're the first class of the day, that the TVs get turned on and that the presentation is going. If you're the last class of the day, that the TVs get turned off and everything gets shut down. Something else that you're going to be responsible for doing is answering the phone. If I'm not right there by the phone to answer it and you can get there before I can, then I do expect you to answer the phone. You will start by saying, Hobby Library, this is, and then whatever your name is. How may I help you? If I'm not helping somebody or I'm not teaching a class and I'm available, then you'll tell them, one moment, please, let me get her for you, and then come and get me. If I'm unavailable, if I'm in the middle of a lesson, if I'm working with somebody, if I'm already talking to somebody else, or maybe I've stepped out of the library for a second. If that's the case, then you're going to tell them, I'm sorry, but Miss Fox is not available at the moment. May I take a message? And then write it down. Make sure that you get who it was that called and what exactly they want. Also, this goes along with the other video. Please make sure that you are not giving attitude, that you are not being snarky, and that you're trying to be as positive, as energetic as possible. Now, do I want you to be fake? No, absolutely not. But I do need you to make sure you remember that your attitude is a reflection of the library. So if you're answering the phone and you're saying something like, what? Who is this? That's not going to be okay. That's never appropriate, at least not at school. So please make sure that you're following the script. And this will be posted next to the phone at the circulation desk so that you can use it if you need. Okay. The next thing is you are going to be helping with checking books in and out. Sometimes people get confused between what checking books in is versus what checking a book out is. And so we'll talk about that more in depth. But remember, if they're checking a book in, then it's going to stay in the library. If they're checking a book out, then they're going to take it out of the library. And I'll show you how to do this. Most of you already know. You won't be using my librarian computer. You'll be using the self-checkout to help people do that. Okay. Sometimes when we have classes come in, I'll tell them just stack up your books on the counter here, and my aide will help check them in. And so that might be your job. You'll check them all in and then you'll organize them. That's the other thing that is important with this is once you check books in, people will put them on the counter. Then you need to take those books, or I will, or whoever is closest and has a moment to do it, and we'll separate those books onto the appropriate carts. Shelving books and reading the shelves. So part of being a library assistant is that you have to help me shelve books. We have a ton of books that come in and out of the library every single day. And so there are times when I just can't do it by myself and I'm going to need your help. I'll give you some practice and I'll show you how to do that. But you are going to have to learn how to put books back in the proper places. Okay. The other thing is once you have shelved the books, that means you've put them back where they belong, and we don't have any more books, then you're going to do something called reading the shelves. When you read the shelves, you go through and you make sure that all of the books are pulled to the edge, that everything has the spine facing out, so we don't see any of the pages, that they're in the right order. So they'll be in ABC order or numerical order or both, depending on what section you're looking at. And I'll teach you how to do this. You'll also make sure that there's no random books just like laying on the side, or that people have thrown trash. If you find some, you're going to have to pick it up and throw it away. So if ever there's downtime and you've done everything else, you can always read the shelves. And there may be some days when I'm like, hey, can you go read those shelves for me? All right, helping patrons is a big part of what we do. That means that you're going to help people find books. You're going to be helping people print, signing into computers, making sure that you can answer as many questions as possible. So, like if someone says, hey, do you know where the biographies are? Or do you know where there's a book about, I don't even know, where's there a book, a joke book, or something like that? I'll show you where those different sections are so you can find them. And then I'll also make sure I show you how to use the catalog so you can look in there to help people. Okay? Just because if someone comes in and I'm in the middle of a lesson, I can't help them. My time needs to go to that class and that lesson, and then that's where you guys come in. But the biggest thing with helping a patron that you need to remember is you need to be kind and courteous. So please make sure that you are using your manners. You're saying things like please, thank you. You are not saying anything mean or aggressive. You're not using any sort of homophobic language. You are not using any sort of racial slurs or anything like that. I need you guys to be as professional as possible. There are a lot of kids who are coming in here, a lot of adults too, and they're looking for books because they have an interest in a specific thing, whatever that is. This is not our place to judge. If you are helping someone and they're asking you to help them find a book, something that maybe you don't agree with, or maybe you don't want to know more about, that's fine. But you do not get to judge someone for the book choices that they are making. So you can help them, you can be kind, and you can be courteous. If you can't do that, then you can't be a library aide, and we'll find a different spot for you, because I will not tolerate any sort of bullying, any sort of meanness, harshness, aggressiveness, anything like that. Like I said in the last video, if you have a problem with someone from outside of the library or in a previous class or something, when you come into the library and become my aide, you need to put that behind you. Because if that individual comes in and asks for help, you need to be able to help them. We all have to do that sometimes in life. You gotta have to learn how to put those feelings aside and move on. So if you can't do that, then you need to let me know so that either I can help them or we can figure out another solution. But I cannot have anybody in here who's going to be mean or rude or just plain nasty to people. Okay? And you guys are better than that. I know you are. So we need to make sure that you're showing people how incredible you are. All right, so one of the other things you might be asked to do is you might be asked to help with displays. So you might be designing a display, cutting things out. If you're cutting things out for me, please, please, please cut as nice and neatly as possible. Don't give me something crooked. Don't give me something crazy because I can't put that up. I need it to look good. If you're not comfortable with cutting, tell me and I'll figure it out. Okay? But I don't want to give you something and then it's all crazy crooked all over the place. Just let me know. That could also involve helping me actually tape it up and put it together. It could mean refilling books. So when you go into the library, you'll notice that there are some shelves where the books look a little different. They're displayed a little differently. And that is done purposely so that kids can find books that are appealing to them, which means that those books get checked out often and then has to be replaced or refilled with something else. So I'll show you what that looks like and where those books are. And so if you come across anything that you think is a good book or that you think would be interesting for somebody else to read, you can always fill that spot for me if you see it's blank. Running errands for me. So I know I have a lot of people who like to do this because you get to leave and go to another class and see what's going on. But it's really important for you guys to remember that when you are going around campus, you are a representation of me and the library. And so you cannot be running, literally running in the hallway. I know it's called running errands, but it's not running, it's walking around, right? You also need to make sure that you're wearing the library pass. And so I have 2 lanyards with a little pass on the bottom that says library aide. If you are not wearing that and you tell someone, you get stopped by someone and tell them, oh, I'm in the library with Miss Fox, I can't guarantee you won't get in trouble because you don't have your pass. So please make sure that you have your pass with you, okay? And they always go right back where they are so that everybody can find them the next period. But you might be checking my box. You might be dropping off mail in the pony, and I'll show you what that is and where it's at. You might be delivering books to students or teachers. You might be emptying the school drop box at the front, or you might be hanging posters for me somewhere around the school. Those are just some of the errands that you might be running and doing for me. Okay. Just remember that this is not walk around and meet with your friends time, because if I find out that that's what's happening, you will no longer be a library aide. The next part is keeping the library clean and organized. This building is very old, and as such, it has a lot of dust. So I will be asking you guys to help me clean. Sometimes it's dusting, going around with like a little Swiffer and dusting the shelves. Sometimes it means that you're going to be wiping down tables and countertops. It might mean that you're picking up trash, that you're putting tables and furniture back where it belongs. You'll notice throughout the year that we do a lot of different things in the library, and that often means that the space is used for a lot of different things. So we have to move tables. We're constantly having to move chairs, setting up different configurations and things like that. Well, they have to get put back eventually, and so you might be helping me put that back. I might say, hey, can you please go and move the chairs back? Or can you please put the tables back? And so that might be part of your job. If a class leaves, I have to go around and clean up, make sure everything is the same. If you're here, please help me do that so we can get done a lot faster. You might also be helping me set up for a class. So if I have to like get supplies ready, I might tell you, okay, I need you to put so many crayons in this box, or make sure each of these little totes has the following supplies. Processing books means that we're getting books ready to be checked out by the students. So when I get a brand new box of books, I have to go through and do certain things to make sure that those books are ready. And part of that is scanning them. Part of it is making sure that they have the genre stickers on the bottom so people know if it's a funny book, if it's a scary book, if it's a romance, that kind of thing. So you might be helping me with that. But it's also part of it is weeding or getting rid of books. And so sometimes what will happen is books will get ruined because once a book is really well loved, it starts to kind of fall apart. And if that's the case, then I have to withdraw it or weed it from our collection. And so once I do that, all of the hobby information has to come off. So it may be that I ask you to black all of that out with a marker. All right, that's most everything. Now, there may be one or two things that I kind of have to fit in here or there. But if you have any questions about anything, if you're unsure about something, whatever the case may be, let me know. Thanks. Bye, guys.